This year, at AirVenture 2019, the Thursday night STOL competition was interrupted by a break fire on the C-5 Galaxy that had landed just prior to the start of the STOL competition. John Jug-head Council, the announcer for the STOL competition, does an outstanding job of adapting to the interruption in the festivities and puts on an ad-lib show that is spectacular in its own right. He proceeds to give a bit of history and background of the Flying Cowboys, interacting with the crowd and the STOL competition participants. John kept it lively and interesting, and although the STOL airplanes didn't get to fly at all on this night, I don't think he lost a single spectator from the crowd. The warmth and camaraderie amongst these Flying Cowboys was on full display as he interviews some of the preeminent pilots of the STOL world.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fun Fly Zone. Are we ready for some more STOL competition tonight? I don't know, pretty quiet crowd here this evening so far. There we go. How many Cowboys can you fit in a kit box? That is a great question. Hey, you'll notice a lot of the guys and staff out here tonight are wearing their reflective armor. All right, can you do me a favor? Run all the way down the line, and you guys pass these out to all the fans. All righty, thanks. There's one more. Woo! All right. So this man here, this is the air boss. He's under direct control of everything going on. You know, at any aviation event, safety is the #1 factor. And right now, they've got a response over on the other side of the airfield that has nothing to do with us. The good news is I don't see anything bad looking over there, but what that means is our crash fire rescue folks that are protecting us here now have to respond over there. So we're on a little bit of a standby, but that's okay, because that gives me the opportunity here to spend a little time talking about everybody out here and helping introduce everybody to what STOL and backcountry flying is. There really is a difference too. You talk about mountain flying, you talk about backcountry or off-airport flying, you talk about short takeoff and landing flying, especially in an environment like here where it's prepared. Those really are three very unique disciplines. They're related. A lot of the skills carry over between the two, but they're not all the same. One of the most important things for everybody to realize is the men and women that you see flying out here today, we really do fly in all three of those environments. But we've spent years and years practicing at high altitude, learning from professionals, people with more experience, more years than us. We are always talking amongst ourselves about techniques, procedures, safety concerns, whether it's, hey, are you running a spot beacon? Like myself personally in my 170, I have a spot beacon tracking my position. I also wear a personal locator beacon around my neck. If I'm out over the mountains and for some reason I was to lose a motor or something's going wrong, I'm pushing the spot when I'm airborne, when I first notice a problem. That's going to get them coming within a couple mile range of me. And then either when I get on the ground or right before the ground, I'm going to hit my 496 locator. That's going to pinpoint exactly where I am. How many people have seen the Flying Cowboys on YouTube or other social media? All right? We're all out there. Of course, everybody knows Trent Palmer, Kevin Quinn out there at STOL Pilot, the Patey brothers. I'm out there with my Dakota, my dog, Jug-head Council, my 170. What you see is you see a lot of the fun stuff that looks really good on video. And as we've had discussions this week with all the different fans at the different venues, what we keep hearing is we want to know more about the behind-the-scenes stuff. What goes into making your videos? Well, what we don't talk about very often, because it's not exciting, but it is very educational, is the amount of planning that goes into us going and flying down a canyon, or flying down a river, or flying somewhere impressive. We're looking at weather, we're looking at hazards. If we're flying in an area that we don't know really well, like coming out here with the low and slow, we actually have an airplane up at altitude ahead of the guys running down low in the river. He's looking for hazards, wires, towers, people, birds, wildlife, dude, girls, sunbathing. Oh, no, we don't look for those. And we let the airplanes run down low, and we usually have another guy riding a high relay above them, behind them, and watching everything. That's the stuff you don't necessarily see, but that's a lot of the stuff that goes into how we safely operate our airplanes in the environment we do. Because I'll be honest, when you're down low altitude, there's less time to deal with things. Another technique that we use to improve our safety is we're coming across the country with 9, 10 airplanes. There were times where we had people at 50 feet, and we had people at 7,500 feet within a 5-mile radius of each other. And every time somebody moved a position in relation to the airplane around them, changed altitude, changed basic directions more than 10 degrees, we were talking on the radio to each other, communicating that. And so that's some of the behind the scenes stuff. This is Kevin Quinn walking out here to the far left. This is the founder of High Sierra Fly-In. If anybody's heard of it, it's a small get-together in the Reno, Nevada area in the desert in October. And every morning we wake up, we stand around this roaring bonfire, we drink some coffee, and at 7 in the morning, the first words out of his mouth is, "God, isn't this place beautiful?" And the second one is, "We've got to be safe about how we fly. Safety, safety, safety." And he's one of the biggest cheerleaders out there. And the nice thing is, it's not just one person's responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility. Now, one of the things that some people may not realize is, everyone's like, how can we fly like you? Where can we go and be like you? The one place that you can be like any flying cowboy is when you go to your next airport. We have a term called heavier route. It started down with the boys in Utah, where they would land at an outstrip and end up flying out trash. I have put a 10-foot fiberglass Livingston boat in my 170, flew it to the next sandbar, picked up an old wheelbarrow, and flew all of that out. I had to leave my dog, my generator, my sawzall behind and come back and get them, but it all fit in that 170. Well, you may not be landing on a gravel bar hauling out trash, but it doesn't mean when you're at the fuel pump of an airport on the way home and you see an oil bottle down there, some paper towels blowing around, or maybe the garbage can in the bathroom's all full, you can't stop on it, clean it up. Bottom line is make the places that we love to fly better than when you got there. And that's kind of what that brilliant mindset is really all about. So let me fill you in on where we have been in the competition scale the last couple days. We got 3 guys in the heavyweight category. When I mean that, I mean they're really lightweight airplanes flying well. Hal Stockman in Lawnmower 3.5, with the new engine and the failure he had on the way out, we've upgraded him to 3.5. He is also, you notice our armbands, we've got a little bit of Hal tribute going on today, and he was officially inducted as a full-fledged member of the Flying Cowboys. So there's Hal Stockton. Him, yeah, let's hear it for Hal. Put your hands together. Hey Hal, take a bow. Hal, they're all clapping for you. Go like this. Steve Henry right here in 44, Yeehaw number 7. An Edge performance-tuned Yamaha 4-cylinder turbo 300 horsepower beast. Anybody ever heard of, what's that big red airplane? Cracko? What's that called? Oh, Draco. Anybody heard of that airplane? This airplane, when he gets it dialed in, is going to have more thrust to weight ratio than Draco. Oh yeah, it's the big red machine killer. I didn't do it. All right, and number 3 is Jason Fusat. This is our new buddy on the line. There he is, sneaking up on me. This is our buddy from the great white north of Edmonton, Alberta, actually just north of Red Deer. So here's what's happened. We go to New Holstein, Hal Stockman wins the STOL competition over there. It's the first time that Steve Henry has ever lost to a Rand's airplane. Steve Henry was not necessarily in the best mood that night, but he took the challenge on. He came here the first night here. Oh, by the way, they won by 3 feet difference between the 3 airplanes. We come over here the first night of competition. Steve Henry wins it. Jason and Hal are tied 3 feet shorter combined takeoff and landing distance. What's that? Some posters? I don't know. Does anybody want posters? Signed posters with a picture of the Flying Cowboys? We'll work them out here. The 3rd night of competition with the Ran 6, which is extremely highly modified, just kind of beast of Jason Fusat, beat both Hal and Steve Henry for the 3rd night. All right, we got our Paradigm paraglider team down here along the front as well. We're going to just keep waiting on the air boss till he gets the word. We got posters along the fence. This is actually going to be a really nice chance where guys can just go up to the fence and talk and ask questions as well. Here's Bill Kineen with his Savage Cub out there. He's been showing what that airplane would do. Big old leading edge slats and trailing edge flaps. Bill, you having fun?
Oh, really? I am. It's the only stock airplane out there, but I'm going to beat every one of them.
But no. I am completely stocked.
23.
Okay. All right. Here's the true light sport guy out here having fun as well tonight.
Guys, thank you for coming out.
I like these signs. STOL Drag Oshkosh 2020. Air Boss, you hear that? You see that? STOL Drag. STOL Drag. STOL Drag. I'm not making this up. These are all individual signs I'm reading. STOL Drag. So who in this crowd has been to the Reno Air Races? Show of hands. It is incredible. It's about the #2 aviation event in the world after Oshkosh. Well, this year, for the very first time, Reno is adding a category of racers, and you are looking at them right here. The STOL Drag Races, which were founded by Kevin Quinn and the boys and girls out at High Sierra Flying, are going to be at Reno this September. September 9th through the 15th, if I remember my calendar, 11th through the 15th. Well, I'm showing up early to tailgate, bud. I don't know where you're going to be, but the fun's starting a couple days early. They are going to be racing right out in front of the crowd. About the distance from the crowd they are right now. 2 airplanes side by side. Run, Chris, run. Going to the far fence? Oh yeah, the back fence. We love you out there too. You get to see the airplanes up close. I'm sorry you don't get to see the really good looking announcer as well. Who laughed? I heard it. Someone. Fine, I see how you are. I see how you are. All right. Now what we are going to do here is I'm going to take the opportunity here to walk up and find some new friends. And anybody got a question for the Flying Cowboys you'd like me to answer or ask?
Look at all these people, you guys. It's incredible.
Don't know what you're talking about.
People want to see
Never heard of
backcountry
it.
flying. STOL is alive.
Yes, sir. Can what?
So awesome.
Can Steve Henry beat Mike Pickett? I
Absolutely,
think
you
the answer to
can.
that is yes. Last year, the STOL Drags, Trent Palmer showed up with the Freedom Fox after having just put the brand new engine on it. He qualified for the top 16 of the STOL Drags on Saturday with an airplane configured for cross-country flying. He did not even unload anything out of the airplane. When it got to the finals, he lost to Draco by less than a second. That is turboprop Draco versus 120 horsepower Freedom Fox. So that's what's really cool about the STOL Drags. It's not the size of the engine, it's not the size of the airplane. A lot of it has to do with the aerodynamics, the ability to accelerate, decelerate. A lot of times the guy that gets back first, or the gal that gets back first and lands, is not the winner. Because they've carried all this speed, but you gotta get that speed stopped. And if you come back and get beat by a guy on the braking action, you may be out in front, but you're looking back at the winner. And that's what's really, really cool about it. It's just completely untraditional type of racing. So here's a unique thing that this blew my mind as we were coming out. Edge Performance engines, all right? They are working to make the most horsepower out of 2 of our engines out there. Wild West Aircraft is incorporating them with their Yamaha turbo 4-stroke 300 horsepower. Right before we left, he's on the phone with a gentleman in Norway, hooks his computer to the airplane. His computer gets taken over by a guy in Norway, and they are tuning the motor over the internet across the Atlantic. That is cool, high-tech stuff. And what'd you think of the results?
They were good, but we were working on it more today too.
And you worked on it yesterday, and you worked on it the day before. We're coming across this. I went down to Seattle. I flew down and met Steve in Napa, Idaho. We spent the night. The morning, the 16th, we take off for really Wyoming, eventually Scottsbluff, Nebraska. It's the first time that Yeehaw 7 really had been outside of about a 50-mile radius. And the whole way, I felt like I should have had my paper up there taking notes, because he's reading off temperatures and exhaust ratios and talking about fuel flows and performance, and he was so fired up, and it was fun to see. And it's been a really cool thing to watch this airplane perform. I mean, one of his problems is, well, if I get the full power, will the brakes hold it? And it won't, especially if the grass is a little bit wet. So, Any other questions out there for any of our flying Cowboys? Nothing, nothing? All right, Kevin, so talk to me just a little bit about what High Sierra is and how people can find out more about it.
High Sierra Flying, stoldrag.com. You can go onto the High Sierra Flying page. You can learn about the High Sierra Flying. You can register. You can sign up. Actually, this morning we had only 6 plane slots left. We put a cap at 450 airplanes. It's probably going to be close to 2,000–3,000 people there. It is STOL Drag World Championship. It's also the qualifier if you want to race in Reno next year. Come to High Sierra, see if you can qualify, make that round of 16. We're putting on quite a show, and we're pretty excited the fact that STOL Drag, we're the first new class in Reno in 26 years. We're the newest class since the Jet class. They certified 26 years ago, but if you don't know what STOL Drag is, Google it. It's head-to-head, side-by-side. Fast as you can go, as slow as you can go, land on or after the line, come to a complete stop, spin 180, go all the way back down, here comes that line, I gotta pull the power back, I gotta throw it sideways, here it comes, land, stop, slam on the brakes, come to a stop, and I just beat Corey Robin. That's how it works.
Standard. Hey, no. We're going to the Paradigm, guys.
What is going on, guys? My name is Eric Farewell from the Paradigm Aerobatic team, and I know that this is not the most exciting thing you've seen happen all night. I mean, given watching Kevin and Corey kind of cut it up is good. Are you guys excited for a fun show tonight? A little bit? All right, so we're really thankful that these guys are willing to open for the main show. So guys, thank you very much. It means a lot to us. You know, a couple years ago we had the Blue Angels open for us. That was a nice one too. But we get to fly these little Paramotor backpack butt fans, as you see. And for those of you guys who want to know what that is, it's a 28 horsepower motor pushing us at speeds between 20 miles an hour and 55, 58 miles an hour. Well, the thing is though, this is like, that's a car, this is a motorcycle. You gotta have both. You're gonna ask Quinn, what you do is you take the Paramotor, you put it in the back of your carbon cup, and you fly somewhere to go fly somewhere, right?
Land on the mountaintop, take the Paramotor out, which you told me, 2 of them.
I'm a pretty good salesman.
And you build it, you assemble it in about 5 minutes, launch a canopy, send it, soar with the Eagles, come back in, land, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, unpack it, put it in the back of the carbon cup, fly away, land, pop it back.
So that's the plan, right? That's the mission. I like to tell people that you can fly to Kitty Hawk, right? I got an RV6. It's not quite big time. Working on that. But I put the Paramotor in the back of the RV6 and I fly to Kitty Hawk. And I pull a Paramotor out and I go fly the dunes, and I am Wilbur and Oval Right. You get to feel what they felt. You get to experience it. There's a gentleman in the stands over here, Bo Feldman. Bo is 18 years old. He just flew from Florida to Oshkosh on his Paramotor. Yeah. Unbelievable, right? 35 hours, 6 days. Talk about an adventure. All right, Bo, tell us about the craziest moment of the trip.
All right, the craziest moment of the trip was when I hit some stronger winds than I was supposed to be handling and had to land backwards in a cornfield.
Backwards?
Yep, backwards.
He did have to replace an engine halfway up. Yeah. So one of the cool things we like to say, you guys know who Bobby Drayton is? You guys? So Bobby might or might not be way better at flying than Kevin Quinn. But he came to visit me one day. Way better. So Bobby came to visit me in Lake Wales, Florida, where our school is based, and he's going to come and fly Paramotors. He's all excited. He flies a Husky in. He lands short, and I landed beside him on 1 foot. I can't believe it. So I landed beside him on 1 foot, and I stand there. The winds are just holding me steady, and then I just jump. And he got a little mad at me at that point. So guys, we're super glad that all of you are here. Thank you for putting up with the butt fans, for watching the incredible stuff of these flying Cowboys. What an incredible time. I'm gonna hand it back to Kevin or whoever wants a Jug-head. You want it? You wanna run? We're telling a Hal story. Oh, this could be good.
Hey, whose favorite pilot here is Hal? Would you bring your own fan club, Hal? So Hal became an official flying cowboy this evening. He's always been a flying cowboy. We just made sure he had a sticker on it this evening. but they didn't have any, well, we got red ones on that thing and now you're fired up. But we got a really good story about how we're coming across the desert low and slow, and all of a sudden we hear, well, my engine just quit. It was dead calm on the radio, and I think Trent said, Hal, what'd you say? Yep, my propeller just stopped. I think I'll just go down here and land. But tell us about that experience, Hal. What's it like losing an engine and being able to recover? And next thing you know, he's got a new engine on his airplane that night before dark, and he was 4 hours behind us. But these guys want to hear you talk. They don't want to hear me.
I don't know whether they want to hear me or not either. But, yeah, I had put an engine together this spring. I called it my Franken engine. It was various parts scattered around the shop. And so it was a 100-horse piece that I poured out, put big cylinders on it, put a cam in it, big motorcycle carburetor. But where I goofed up, I put an old 80-horse crank in it, which it's the same, but it's not quite the same. And the motor ran really good, but I had another crank and cam that I was going to put in it before Oshkosh, but I ran out of time, so I thought, well, I'll do it before Reno. So we're flying along, and it just goes bunk, and it was done. So, and I smelled hot oil, so I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy fix. But I don't know, we were 1,000. We had climbed up to some cooler air and more tailwind. So I looked around, and it was all just meadow. You could have landed anywhere, and so why be scared? You'd have to hunt for a rock to run over. But there was a road down there, and on that road was a truck, and I could see tracks in the grass where it just drove in, and I thought, well, maybe I can get some help. So I flew down there and landed by the truck. And so all the guys landed, and we looked at it, and the rod was broke. So it had broken in two, and part of it tried to escape. And I said, well, you're not going to fix this thing. We're not going to fix it with super glue and bubble gum. So you might as well go on. I'll figure it out. Wait, the cell phone works? I'm good. So about 5 years before, my first lawnmower I'd sold to a rancher to chase cows, and he had broke a piston, and I told him, well, it's easier to put a motor on it than it is to take the wings off or fix it. So we went down there and fixed that one. So I called him up. I said, Mark, remember when your motor broke? And I said, mine's broke. I'm in the 600 miles away in Wyoming. I need you to go get that motor out of my shop, put it in your airplane, and bring it to me. So 7 hours from the time my prop stopped, he had brought me a motor right there, landed on the road right in front of me, and I had the motor off, ready for the new one, and we got that one on that night. It got dark, got up the next morning, finished it up. So about 24 hours later, from the time the prop stopped, I was heading east. He was taking my old motor back west. So these guys were digging around, playing on the riverbed and what have you. I went up to high to cool air and big tailwind, hammered down, stopped one time, and landed 4 hours behind him in Middleton, Wisconsin. So flew 700 miles that next day.
Oreo! Oreo! That's true. All right, we're trying to get the official word from the powers that be to see if we can put on a good show. Who wants to have a good show tonight? Let's turn it back over to Jug-head.
All right, well, thanks everyone. I was there on the phone with the air boss and the overall air boss. We're still waiting on emergency response vehicles to be able to come back into position over here and be able to support us. So we're gonna sit here and just relax a little bit more. What I would like to know is, first of all, is anybody here from the 3D RC flying team? And if you are, I'd like you to come out front. We'd love to share more about what you guys are going to do and actually maybe see the airplanes or talk about them in the daylight just a little bit as well. So one of the things that we just really love about being out here, and we keep talking about just being ambassadors in aviation, and I know if you're at Oshkosh, you already love flying. Whether you're a pilot, an aircraft owner, just an enthusiast, whether you like the gyrocopters, the helicopters, or everything in between. But you know, we all know it's a pretty tough time in aviation, but there's a big resurgence going in its growth. We're seeing more people here at the Fun Fly Zone than we ever have. And I just really encourage everyone to take every opportunity to tell people about aviation. You know, if you go out and you support a training exercise with your local EMS and fly supplies to a simulated earthquake scenario, or your Young Eagles events, or you're taking young scouts down to the airport to learn about it. I come from a little airport in Snohomish, Washington called Harvey Field. Anybody ever heard of it? Yeah, it is one of the coolest. It's a privately owned grass strip, paved strip, skydiving center, EAA, restaurant, bar, super fun place to hang out. Wednesday nights they do yoga on the airport. And the balloons are flying, and it's so funny because it's right out in front of my hangar. I do not do yoga, as you probably can tell from my posture and everything else about me, but I will sit there in my hangar and drink a beer and watch people do yoga, and that's a great workout. But I can hear the people talking, and they're going, oh, we went up in that hot air balloon, that's so cool, and my husband came out here and took an introductory flight. And it's things like this that this company, this family that's held this airfield for over 100 years, is doing to help promote aviation. Now, Kevin Quinn's a pretty mellow guy. Well, I wouldn't say he's mellow, but he's a humble guy. What he didn't say about his paraglider was when he's not flying STOL, when he's not teaching people to fly at Truckee Tahoe, in the spring and winter, he runs a heliski operation in Fort Nova, Alaska, and I was fortunate enough to go up heliskiing with him. And he's like, well, if the weather's not perfect this day, we're going to strap on the paragliders and we're going to go fly them. And I'm like, well, you know, dude, I really can't run. I've had 9 knee surgeries. Running's not my thing. He goes, no, whoa! He's like, we're just going to strap on the skis and we're going to ski across the lake on the paragliders. I mean, this guy does more to promote everybody in aviation. Oh, all right. So what you said was shut up, Jug-head? While we do this, and we're going to keep working our way down, I'm going to tell you about how this happens out here. Alaska bush wheels. We'll go to the backup mic. Airframes Alaska and Alaska bush wheels have come on board to sponsor the Fun Fly Zone this year, and it is so critical. We are so thankful for their support. You know, when we came in here on Sunday, it was bush wheel only Sunday into Oshkosh. And you want to talk about make a bunch of us really happy. You want to take the marketing and sales team at Alaska Airframes happy, because they obviously are the biggest manufacturer of bush wheels in the world. But their airframe modifications, their tires, their suspension systems, it's much more than just about being able to have great big tires and land on 8-inch rocks. It reduces the workload, it reduces the abuse on your airframe. It makes flying in the off-airport environment a lot safer. Steve Pierce's Cub, where is it? The yellow or white and red Cub in the back has what's called P-STOL flaps. These are slotted Fowler flaps, much like you would see on a modern jet airliner. They reduce the stall speed 3 to 4 miles an hour and reduce the deck angle, allowing the STOL pilot, whether he's in competition or flying in the backcountry, coming into a short strip to pick up a hunter or haul out a moose to be able to see over his nose better. They come in standard length, kind of double hangers for production Cubs. And they come in extended length 3 and 4 hanger for the experimental Cub categories. I've been a customer of theirs for many years. No, I don't get paid for them. No, well, I did get this cool t-shirt from them, and I got a cool hat from them. But they make great products, they have great customer service. My last order, I'll admit, it didn't ship when they thought it was. It kind of got delayed. When I called them up, they looked into it, they fixed it within 24 hours and handed it to me. And they're great to work with. Good people, they know what they're doing. They are the industry leaders when it comes to modifying both your experimental and certified airplanes to improve your capabilities, fun, and safety in the backcountry. All right, anybody else have a question you'd like answered from the group? Any of our performers? How many Cowboys can you fit in a kit box? There's a running joke that Cowboys love to see how many people they can put into a courtesy car, and I think the record is like 13. And to tell you how bad it is, when we drive over to the safety meeting, I have a car with 4 empty seats, and they're all shoved into a minivan with the other 12 of them. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to play that game. I'm too old and broken. All right, look down to your right. You'll see the Paradigm guys and gals starting to hang up some of their chutes there. He was kiting it, flying it up above him. Anybody here ever gone skydiving? Yeah, was it fun? Did you jump tandem or did you jump by yourself? Tandem. I've done all the above. I've done 5 free fall jumps, and then I had a static line jump, and then I did a tandem jump in that order. All various years apart. Absolute blast. Really fun way to experience things. And it's not a matter of, people like, oh, I'm afraid of heights. It's like, believe me, once you leave the airplane, you do not have the sensation of falling because you're traveling forward like the airplane. You have the sensation of just being in a strong wind. It's super fun. Anybody here ever thought, I would love to find a good place to go learn to fly either tailwheel airplanes or backcountry mountain flying, looking for a good school? While you do it, the wife or husband could be drinking wine at one of the most gorgeous settings in the world. Head out to Tack Arrow. The boys and girls out there live in Hood River, Oregon. Mountain Hood is right behind them. The apple trees, the vineyards of the countryside is absolutely incredible. The hiking, skiing, biking, and the flying is unbelievable. Hey Trent, don't you think 28,000 followers is enough? Leave some for the rest of the people. Just making friends. Yeah. Where's Hailstorm? Have we talked to Hailstorm? Haley. How many people have heard of Miss Haley Hailstorm Palmer? Anybody? Yeah, I know you have. This is Trent's wonderful second half, because we all know that the true success behind a good man is a good wife that supports us in going out and playing and flying and working. Of course, while he's out playing, she's at home. We're grateful. She's a little camera shy. Well, no, she's not camera shy. I think she's live entertainment shy. But this is one of the sweetest young ladies. I just really met her about a week ago as we started out here, but she's been so fun to fly. And if you watch the videos, people are like, you really don't like little airplanes and you really don't like turbulence, and that's really not quite accurate. But I know a lot of people that maybe have spouses that fly go, I'm not super comfortable in the airplane, so I'm going to let her tell a little bit about how she gets more comfortable. Yeah. She says no. Oh, how do you get comfortable with public speaking? Okay, well, here, do this. I'll demonstrate it, okay? You take the microphone, you hold it with 2 hands like this. No. She did great coming out. It was everywhere from 105 degrees and bumpy and bouncy around. If you look at these airplanes, if the boss wants me. I know a secret, you don't know it. Sorry. Not yet. Because eventually we're going to give away this cool Airframes Alaska launch area. No, you're not taking that. Weight it down. So Haley, what would be your advice to those out there that maybe aren't as comfortable flying with their spouses as they would like to be, and how they can do better?
Well, I discovered that knowledge is power, and I just got in the plane and trusted these boys and trusted Trent. But I learned a lot, and once I really got comfortable and learned knowledge, I felt somewhat.
Well, that knowledge gave you power and a little bit of control. She really did. I mean, she was contributing valid inputs and some radio calls and things. So She really did. And so maybe that's the key for your spouse out there or significant other is, you know, you don't maybe have to learn to fly, but you want to hold the controls for a little bit so they can look at maps, run electronics, do whatever, find the altitudes, find the conditions that are comfortable for her. She'd rather be down where it's a bit lower than up high where it's cooler. Maybe it's the fact that they got the plastic all the way around.
We're in a glider. I just want to make sure we down.
Okay, anybody heard of Gold Rush Alaska reality TV show? Yeah, a few of you out there. I've watched it a few times, pretty interesting. So, where is the Uper Cub? This beautiful lime green, white, and black Uper Cub there. Big leading edge slats, modified trailing edge slats, 150 horsepower. That's what he claims, okay? You don't really buy it. But Rich Ness there, you'll see that airplane and him featured in that show in some upcoming seasons here, or upcoming episodes, yeah. It sounds like their son is involved pretty heavily in the show, so that's a lot of fun. All right, so here's the thing. Who do we have here from the furthest away? Or do we have any new pilots? What's the newest pilot we have in the group? Anybody got their private license in the last month? Last month? Now it's a big crowd, so I don't want to skip over, but is there anybody left or right that has a license newer than, oh, down here. What do we have down here?
How long? Last Wednesday. Last Wednesday! Now he's talking to somebody else. Goodness gracious.
Last Wednesday? Oh, sorry, but that beats last month. But if you want, I'll share the secret with you. Make me feel better. The secret is, it sounds like the situation across the field is getting brought under control, and they're hoping that we will be underway here shortly. Anybody doing better than last Wednesday on the private check ride? Yes, sir. Which airplane is the most stopped? Of the full-time flyers, it is. Well, so the orange, white, and brown 170 has a 180 horsepower motor, so it's got a bigger motor, a little bit of mods on the wings. The 180 in the very back, a little bit of mods on the wing with a bigger motor. Probably Riley Kennedy's tan and white 180 is the closest thing to stock. Outside, my 170 down here, which I won't get to do it tonight because we're on a short schedule, but I usually fly one pass. It is a 100% stock airplane. The Super Cubs, probably Steve Pearson's, but it does have the P-STOL flaps. It is 150 horse. VGs on the wings, but the rest of the wing, it appears to be stock. Now, asking these guys what they've modified is kind of like asking a poker player how good his hand is. There's one easy way to tell if a STOL pilot is lying, and that is if his lips are moving. So, take it for yourself. Not as bad as a lawyer. We are not going there. No, sir. I like the pink bush wheels t-shirt. Yes. All right, I think we've got our winner down here. I don't hear anybody down on the far end talking better than Wednesday. Last chance to claim this Alaska Airframes chair. Newer private pilot than Wednesday, going once, going twice. Where is he? I'm sorry. Oh, come on over here. My name's Jug-head. How are you?
And your name? And where did you take your check ride? What airplane? How'd you do it? Tell us all about it. And you've got 45 minutes to fill it up out here.
I don't know how to use the microphone. Spartanville Airport is still before if we've got anyone out there from Michigan. Cessna 172, it is a 67, so it's the 8th model. 130 horsepower engine, I had a heavy CFI. It was a long day. check ride pretty well. Only busted out my altitude band once. Didn't scare the DPE, which is a good thing.
What would be your advice to anybody else out there getting ready for the check ride?
The check ride is not as stressful as everyone makes it out to be. So relax, get some sleep the night before, and drink your water, especially if it's hot out. It was 95 degrees, did mine.
Well, let's put a big hand together for our newest pilot out there. Congratulations. And I will admit this, I don't care who you are, I don't care how far you've gone in your aviation career, you're probably going to bust a check ride sometime. Yeah, sometime. Any other questions for our STOL guys, gals? And it's okay, it doesn't have to be if it's a hard question, we don't know, we'll just make up the answer.
You go to Alaska?
Did what?
You go to Alaska?
Out of this group, CC with the green 170, he won Alaska. Valdez STOL this year. Let's see here. I'm thinking if anybody else in this group made Alaska, and I don't think so this year. No, sir. Of course, Frank, who is kind of the coordinator for all this with Little Cub, he's won Alaska several times with that airplane, but he's not flying here. So Alaska Valdez, that is kind of the home of the STOL competition. Occurs the first weekend in May. Another super cool STOL competition coming up is in Malacca, Minnesota in 2 weeks. It is the newest STOL competition on the circuit in the U.S. They have $15,000 in prize money on the board. That is the largest prize sum of any STOL competition. I think that's a bigger prize sum than all the others combined. And it is 40 miles north of Minneapolis. So go home from Oshkosh, take a break, cool off, relax for about a weekend, and when that aviation itch starts to kick in, get yourself up to Malacca at the Sod Buster STOL competition. One of the things, if the guys do get to fly here soon, we're obviously racing against the sun has set, so now we're into silver twilight mode. It makes it a lot tougher. So some of the things we do have the LED lights, which are shining up. We've got the cones and the flags to mark that touchdown line. And it can be pretty tough to see that as the light starts to dim. I think this evening is going to be even extra tough, and it's kind of a race right now. But the good news is, when it gets dark and we get the paradigm guys, sorry, I really didn't mean that, you're gonna love it. I call them the flying donuts, and I don't mean that in a bad way because it's really cool, but that whole ring around the propeller lights up with LEDs and it looks like dancing donuts, which I kind of like. We got some balloon glows going on right off the end of the strip, and of course then our skydivers will be airborne as well. They've got pyrotechnics strapped to the legs, and it's a really cool event. Now let me tell you a little more, you see the guys out here, I want to tell you a little bit about their backgrounds, because most of them really are not professional pilots. Al is a large engine mechanic, diesel mechanic out in the mines of Elko, Nevada. Trent Palmer, many of you know, is a commercial filmmaker and a commercial professional drone pilot, mainly doing advertisement type of film work. Steve Harvey owns a crane company. Kevin Quinn is a flight instructor, owns a heli ski company and some other adventure travel companies. A former professional hockey player, married to a former professional ski racer. He got to see his 8-year-old daughter taking the slopes. Jason Busat owns a high-performance engine company outside of Red Deer, Alberta, as well as they build custom bumpers for off-road vehicles and pickups. Honestly, I don't know what Steve Pierce does. Anybody? We'll make it up. He's a bouncer down at the local VFW hall on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and he sells Avon the rest of the week. Corey Robin owns a company and out in Utah. What's the Uper dude do, man? Out of Minnesota. Anybody? Take his families around.
don't know what he does either. We'll make that one up. He ice fishes 9 months out of the year and swims the other 3. Let's see there. We've got the veterinarian, Jim Stevenson, in the orange, white, and brown 170. CC is a professional air show pilot, pyrotechnic master, full-time flight instructor teaching backcountry, off-airport, advanced handling type of instruction. You can either go to his facility on the corner of Arizona, Nevada, and California, or he will take his airplane in your airport and train you there. Riley Kennedy is a corporate pilot flying 4 or 5 different types of jets out of West Texas. Let's see, Bo, another professional pilot there, and at the end, Mr. Tack Aero himself owns Tack Aero Business, where they teach you to fly backcountry airplanes, tail wheel transition. Myself, I'm a retired Air Force fighter pilot. I fly for Alaska Airlines now. Do a little bit of air show, crop dusting, and some of everything else. Basically, if it has wings, I kind of have fun doing it like a lot of these guys. All right, I know you're getting tired of hearing my voice, so I'm either just going to throw the microphone in the crowd or I need some more questions from people. Here we go, right over here. What is the road like getting to High Sierra? At 500 feet, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. You can drive there. So there is a dirt road that goes into High Sierra. I have never driven it. There's some really cool stories online of what it's like to drive it. It's not very well marked. You can get a motorhome through it. You can get a 2-wheel drive through it. And it is a little bit dusty or muddy depending on the time of the year. But I really encourage people, this community is so small that if you get yourself to Reno and go, hey, can somebody come pick me up? Someone will fly out and pick you up. And that's what we go to High Sierra. Is really encourage people to come in like this. The cool thing is we'll wake up in this lake bed. It's October, 3rd week of October, 19 degrees. And you'll get up and you'll go over to the campfire. They haul in 2 semi-loads of ponderosa pine, all cut. And we'll fire up. The fire never dies. We build way too big a fire at night for us to be dead in the morning. You'll get around it. You'll have your coffee pots all brewing. And we'll start taking off. Some guys will fly out to Bo's place, eat host of breakfast up in the High Sierra Nevada mountains. Or you'll go out to the hot springs, go soak in the hot springs. Or we'll go up to where Burry Man's held and go check out the 747 out in the desert. I'll go, last time I took my brother, we went and flew around Lake Tahoe and checked out the ski resorts. There's so many cool things to do. You don't have to have some big high-performance bush airplane to go there. We've had Citation jets, we've had DC-3s, everything from little flybaby 65 horsepower engine airplanes to the biggest and fanciest. So anyone really can go there. Yes, sir. Got a question? I've heard that there's more to outland beavers in Alaska than the rest of the world. I am not an official source of answer to that, but I would say that's 100%. I cannot, obviously northern Canada is the other place that operated extensively, but when you go looking at beavers in Alaska, a lot of them have been found somewhere in the world where they're no longer needed routinely, and they have been brought back to Alaska to be used. So yes, that I would say is true. Thank you. Got a question right here? All right. Piston-powered engines. He's asking, are there any other options in piston-powered engines? Right now, there is nobody flying an electric-powered STOL airplane. I would love to have an electric engine that I could put on a lightweight. I would love it. Instant acceleration, and the second I pull the throttle, it shuts off. That would be incredible. One of the things you'll see Cal Stockton do, when he lands, his engine shuts off. So it's not providing residual thrust on the roll. These guys will take the
metal washers out from underneath the screws and put nylon washers, not the thick ones, the thin ones to save weight. They will run titanium bolts. They will shave weight everywhere possible. Obviously, we've got turbine class motors. There's been a lot of people talking about finding like a Walter turbine prop engine. Lots of different things out there that people wonder about. Well, the STOL drag racing, you know, when you say it doesn't beat cubic inches, horsepower wins a lot of things, but it doesn't do any good in a STOL drag if you can't get stopped. So you have to have the airflow, you have to have the gear and the brakes to be able to harness that speed to be successful. In STOL competitions like this, you also got to have everything you give up in one category to help you in another category to get a take. Good question. Yes, sir. Who's the youngest? Riley Kennedy is the youngest at 20, I think he's 23. I don't know, when you're that young compared to the rest of us, it doesn't matter. I think Kel Stockton is probably the oldest at 67 is approximately my guess. Most of us are mid-30s to mid-50s. Which means that hurts us in the weight category. You notice Steve Hendry, he's like a jockey out there. It's like the whole trip I've been trying to feed him, and Hal's been giving me extra money behind his back to buy big meals for Steve, and I can't get the guy to eat at all. Well, we are running out of daylight quickly. I think it is probably fairly safe to say right now that I don't think the STOL event is going to get to be flown tonight. Now, that doesn't mean the Paradigm, the RC gliders, and everybody else isn't going to be going. They still are, hopefully. But tell everybody to get back out here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We will get the STOL guys packed up in the air. You know, and this is just part of aviation. Oh, look what I see to my left. I see a fire truck. I see a fire truck. That's good news. Paradigm is flying in 5, ladies and gentlemen. The Butterfly Zone is coming on. That's what I like to hear. Hey, you airplane guys, get out of here. Leave. All right, I'm going to be setting down the mic because I know you were sick and tired of hearing me talk. Great chance to maybe hit the bathroom real quick, get back out here. Paradigm's going to take to the skies. Their guys are going to come on the mic. We're going to put some airplanes away, and I will see you back here in just a moment.